Hi, this is John LaPlante, and I'm really excited to announce that we have added the K12SIX Essential Cybersecurity Protections for the 24-25 school year to Vinson Protect, along with a self-assessment feature, which I'm going to show you today. So, the first thing you'll want to do is log in to your Vinson Protect application and head over to the Frameworks section. It's the link that you can see on the screen here. It says Frameworks. So if you click on that, you'll want to click on the Add Framework button, and then you'll want to choose the K12 Essential Protections 24-25 option, and then click Add Framework to Organization. So that's going to do two things. First of all, it's going to add the framework to your list, and it's going to make it your current framework because you don't see a checkbox here. So it's going to make that your current framework. So what we're going to do now is click on the framework icon here, and that'll take us to the home page for the framework. Because this is the first time we've gone to this particular framework, we haven't done the self-assessment yet. And so it'll ask you, do you want to do that? You can either say, yes, I want to do the self-assessment, or no, I don't. If you answer no, it'll ask you again the next time you go to this page. If you answer no and don't ask again, obviously it'll mark it that you don't want to be asked again, and then it won't. So you can just evaluate these controls manually like you do with other frameworks. For today, I'm going to go ahead and click yes, and then it'll step you through the K12SIX self-assessment. So there are 14 questions, each one discussing one of the 14 controls. So I'm going to go through this process, and I'm going to speed it up all the way through that so you don't have to watch me go through every single one. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this. Okay, now that we've finished our assessment, I'm going to click on Submit, and that's going to convert this self-assessment into scores for the framework. It'll add them to the framework. You'll see that happen in the background. It'll calculate the category scores, and then it'll calculate the overall framework score. And the last thing it does is it sets it to completed. Just because it's set to completed doesn't mean that you can't make changes to it. It just means for the purpose of calculating things like the completed frameworks here, that happens every hour. It'll trigger that calculation the next time it's set to happen. It also allows us to print a security plan, which you can only do for completed frameworks. If you want to make changes to the individual items, you can click on, like I just clicked on 1.1, and that'll bring up that particular control. You'll see some information here about the control. You'll see some alignments. And then you can evaluate what the score for this particular control is. You see here, based on the answers to my self-assessment, this is scored as baseline. If you have questions about how that was calculated, you can come down here to the scoring guide and open that, and it will show you exactly what goes into the calculation of each one of the controls and each one of the values. So in my case, it evaluated me as baseline. These are the items that you look for determining whether you're baseline or good or better. The goal is to have all controls at least at the baseline or better level. Okay? All right. So because I'm at baseline, the recommendations over here I get will be what would I need to do to get to the next level. So if I need to go to the good level, this is what I would do. If I need to get to better, this is what I would do. Here are some suggestions for policy. So if I'm at no policy, to get to informal, here's what you would do. To get to a written policy, here's what you would do. And then in implementation, if I've just partially started it, you'll come down here and you'll see that in order to fully implement it, this is what you would do. So that's how you would work these recommendations. And then you would just put checkboxes here, click. So if I wanted to add this one, I could put a checkbox here, click Add Selected to Tasks, and then that would show up over here under my list of tasks. All right, so the status report is the same as the other status reports you've seen. You'll see each one of the controls, how many points, what the overall status is evaluated as, and then if you've gone through and evaluated each one of the policy and implementation measures for each control, those will show up here as well. You'll see here the tasks that you've added, the current control scores, and then the framework historical scores. So it'll keep track of your monthly scores for, I think, the past 4 or 5 months. I can't remember what exactly we chose. So that's the status report. We haven't really made any changes to that. But the security plan is where we have made some changes. So if I run the security plan, so how the security plan is organized, first of all, you'll see all of your at-risk items first. So in this one, my 3.2 is an at-risk and 5.3 is an at-risk. I think then I start with my baselines. Among the at-risk items, we have a priority list of which items you work on first. The highest priority item will have a red background. So that's what you'll see here. This is the item you should work on next. And then once you can move this to baseline, then this will show up at the top of the report with a red background. And then you'll work on that one. And then you'll start to see all the baseline ones. So the highest priority baseline will then be the top item, and that'll have a red background. So this is just a way for you to keep track of your work, what your next thing you should work on is. It's just a way to prioritize and keep you focused on what you need to work on, what the biggest bang for your buck is. So that's the biggest change with the security action plan for the K12SIX protections for 24-25. And I think that's about it. So if you have any questions for me, there's a contact item up here. You can click on that, and that sends a message. There are also help videos here if you just click on help, and that will show you all of the different help topics that we've added for tasks, notifications, reports, feature requests, how to invite someone to your organization. So there are a lot of help videos here as well, and then you can also take a look at our blog. I try to keep that up somewhat updated, and you can go out and check out some of our items there. Okay, so I think, and this is just the contact page. All right. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.